we're going to discuss the concepts of failure and success, winning and losing, mistakes. These ideas, or the concept we hold of what these ideas mean, oftentimes destroy us, oftentimes keep us trapped and stuck in a particular pattern of behavior, create within us a certain sense of being stubborn, a certain sense or an inability to really have a good look at who we are, what we're doing, how our behavior is creating our reality, how our behavior is being experienced by others for our sake. Because of the concept that we have of what failure means, what losing means, and what making a mistake means, too often the terms failure, losing, and making a mistake are very much attached to our ego, or on a very fundamental level, our perception of self. And at core, every person wants to be validated. Every person wants to be acknowledged. Every person wants to be perceived as the best possible versions of themselves, to be perceived as smart, to be perceived as wonderful, to be perceived as being right, to be perceived as being of value. And so when we begin to perceive ourselves as failures, as losers, and as making mistakes, one of two things happen. We either resign ourselves to that, which takes us into a very, very dangerous, dark spiral, or we fight against that, insisting that we're right, insisting that our way is the correct way, when the results tell us that it's not. When the results tell us that whatever we're doing, the way in which we're doing it, the thoughts we're thinking, the beliefs that we have, are not producing the result of harmony, of tranquility, of pleasure, of being pleased. And yet, because we have this idea that failure and losing and mistakes are so detrimental to our very ego, we won't readily admit to ourselves, I failed. I lost that one. I made a mistake. The minute we're able to easily acknowledge, without an impact to our self-esteem, the quicker we can learn, the quicker we can move on from that point, the quicker we can incorporate new knowledge, new experiences, new opinions, new ideas, the quicker we can let go of our old points of views that are no longer working for us, that are actually causing our lives to be unpleasant places, the quicker I can say, that was a mistake. I failed. I missed something. There was something that I didn't see. There was something I chose to ignore. I lost. The quicker we can put ourselves in a position of learning. There are many versions of this story, but one particular version of the Thomas Edison story, who is said to have invented the light bulb, goes along the lines of that after 199 attempts to invent the light bulb with no success, somebody said to him, "But clearly this is impossible. Why do you keep giving this a go when clearly you failed 199 times? It's not possible." And his response was this: "I haven't failed 199 times. I have found 199 ways that don't work." You see, the difference is that Mr. Edison, in this particular story, did not attach the concept of failure to himself as a human being. I am a failure. I am stupid. I'm useless. My ideas are dumb. I'm no good. He maintained, if you like, his own integrity of being as an inventor, as an explorer, as a discoverer, and attached failure to the task, attached failure to the behavior, and not to himself. And when we can do that, we'll readily be able to say, I failed that one, since it is no reflection on who I am, my value, my validation of myself as being worthy. It is simply a reflection on the particular way in which I managed a particular event. Very true of losing too. Winning and losing are not done within a given moment. Winning and losing are habits, daily habits. It is said that for every 1,000 private victories, I can attain one public victory. We see the public victories, we see the published book, we see the athlete cross the winning line. And what we don't see are the personal victories on a day-to-day basis, where I disciplined myself to wake up early, although I didn't want to, where I disciplined myself to eat nutritionally sound food, where I disciplined myself to make a particular choice about a relationship that would support my mental state of well-being or detract from it. Those were hard decisions. Those were difficult choices. And yet each and every one that I made was a private victory. And those private victories combined led me to my win, led me to my public victory. And so if I can perceive winning and losing in terms of tiny, tiny, incremental daily decisions, it's easy to say, I lost that one. Somehow, somewhere along the line, that was a battle in which I was defeated. And yet, I haven't lost the war. And then when it comes to mistakes, this becomes the question: when does a mistake become a mistake? When does a mistake actually become a mistake? In the moment that it's made, in the moment that I create a particular result, which didn't work, which wasn't pleasing? No. That's not a mistake. That's life. That's the experience of life. That's learning. That's growth. That's moving from point A to point B. That's not a mistake. A mistake is when I know better and I choose otherwise. A mistake is when I refuse to assimilate the feedback. I'm so determined to have things my own way, stubbornly pressing forward, without looking at, reviewing, reanalyzing the feedback that I'm getting. I'm going to insist on continuing in a particular direction, even though I have a great deal of information at my disposal, of which I am aware, but in my willful blindness, I choose to ignore it. And I choose to continue, for whatever reasons, over and over again, repeating a particular behavior pattern, repeating a particular thought process, until the world adjusts itself to me. Then one might be able to say at that point, you're making mistakes. However, if I create a result that is ineffectual, not working, unpleasant, and I adjust and I assimilate new information, and I seek new opinions, then I haven't made a mistake at all. I've learnt, and I've grown, and I've flourished. I've nourished myself, and I've nourished others through the error. If we can perceive winning and losing, failure and success, and mistakes differently, we've set ourselves up for a wonderful, wonderful life, experiencing ourselves as human beings. Fiona D'Souza, Shekhinah Wellness Centre.